Hello everyone, hope you're doing okay. We'll wait for some folks to join us here. We're back here in Ribeirão Preto, Sao Paulo, Brazil. This is Miss Maison. Mason is a little cute chunker, very insecure on the inside, big personality on the outside, but it's been great to see her come out of her shell. For those of you who watched yesterday, there's a great video of her playing, something the zoo hasn't really seen her do. But it's a great expression of emotion. But she's a good girl. As most of you know, we are working on the transfer of Miss Bambi. Bambi is over there at the transfer crate, acclimating to it. Things are going well. Things are going really, really well, actually. Everyone's asking about Maison. What happens to Maison after Bambi leaves? We are been talking to the zoo, and hopefully they're going to be willing to send her to us. But right now, our focus is Bambi. But we're not forgetting about Maison, and I think there's a lot of concern about on all sides what will happen to Maison, but she's hopefully soon they'll make a decision to send her to us. We'll have to see how that goes. It's lunchtime here, normally about 11:30 or so we're gonna take advantage of this kind of habit pattern. Trish is gonna give her some stuff, a little bit more hay and a few other goodies. She's been eating bamboo. We asked them to cut some bamboo today, which is something they don't normally get, but they were loving it. There's still some hanging on the door there. But things are going well. Where we're at today is the door back there. I don't know if you can see. Bambi, I'm gonna come a little closer. Hi, sweet girl. The door is partway closed. You can see that she has to kind of go around the door back there. It's where the orange strap is. Hey, pumpkin. I know, we're right there. While you're getting food. Oh, what happened? What happened? You're just trying to get it over the edge?
Yeah.
That door is a little bit close, so it's a little tighter for her to have to come in. The door can move. If she pushes on it, it opens all the way. The back door behind her. Trish, can you put a little bit of hay down too? Yeah. She likes going fishing in what is not a water container yet. But this will be her water container. We put a lot of stuff in there. She goes fishing to kind of occupy her, let her explore. Super curious, super inquisitive. So while Trish is doing this, what we do is, I kind of walk around behind her, walk to the side of her. We want her to be a little bit distracted or see if there's good stuff for her, but we don't want her to feel like we're manipulating her. We don't want, Trish to be like holding her there, calling her there, saying, come, stay with me. We want her to be comfortable with it. So I come along the side, make some noise with the straps, open and close things, walking around behind her. Coming back here, my bug. A lot of times when I come back right away, she'll come back with me as I start manipulating this door here and opening and closing the door a little bit, just a little bit of movement. She's very scared. She's very concerned because of the aggression from Maison. So we do a few things, different noises, do a few little actions, letting know what we're doing. There you go, good girl. And she's backing up now, but she was really good. She didn't really move back. So those are just baby steps that we take. Again, we want her to see that she's not being manipulated. She's not being, again, held in place. No, stay with us. While we close it behind her. We just let her know what it is that we're doing, get her acclimated, little baby steps. I was just talking to somebody, one of the caregivers, and he said it really is 1 centimeter at a time. And with an elephant like Bambi, yeah, it's 1 centimeter at a time. It's 1 centimeter closer into the crate. It's 1 step forward, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward. It's just a little bit of forward and back. So we do a little bit, step back, give her some more space, and then proceed with the next step. When she's ready, and don't do it all at once, just little baby steps. This is an elephant that is very fearful. She has not had a lot of control over her life. They haven't had a lot of autonomy because of the small space, and she has been pushed on and basically not really attacked, but there has been a little bit of a fight between the two, and she's very concerned about Maison. A lot of times when Maison comes over here, if Mason's just chilling out over here, everything's fine. But when Maison is getting a little bit more demanding and wanting more food or wanting more attention from us or from her caregivers, then Bambi gets a little bit concerned also. So we try to go back and forth. We don't want Maison to only stay away. We don't want Maison to feel like she's not part of the party. So we kind of go back and forth with that as well. So overall, things are good. Not much to report. Happy, cool. A little bit of rain last night. Everybody's a little chill. The vibe in the whole day here is really good. Everybody seems totally chill. The zoo, again, they seem very comfortable with the process. Everyone's really excited about watching the baby steps, seeing how it all evolves. It's been interesting. It's been a good experience for all of us. We are very grateful for the entire team that is here. You're going to get some great photos from Bachira. She's a photographer and has worked at one of the sanctuaries here in Brazil. And she has joined us to take photos, which has been great because not only she has a great eye for photography, but she understands and respects the space animals' needs. So you see her reading the elephant and when she can approach and when she can't. So it's been actually really advantageous. Trish is here. We'll put Trish in the spotlight too, which everyone loves the spotlight. Sorry, Trish. Trish is a veterinarian from the United States, near Atlanta, Georgia, and has done a lot of work in Nepal. And graciously, she agreed to come join us for a couple of months. We're excited to have her along the way. A lot of different perspectives. It's great to hear about some of the things they do in Asia that we don't normally think about. So everyone brings a different perspective, different elements of understanding of elephants, different experience with different elephants and different methodologies. So it's really great to have different people join us at different times and constantly learning from the elephants, constantly learning from one another. It's just our team was over there outside. The rest of our team was over to the right, but they have gone away. I think everyone's getting ready for lunch now, but so far it's been a great day. I don't know what that word is. So I'm reading a message from Marian, and I'm sorry I don't understand what your message is. I'll have to ask for help on that one. Somebody asked, where is Maison? And actually somebody just said, has the new elephant arrived at the sanctuary? No, we're still here in Ribeirão. We're here in Ribeirão Preto. We're still working on acclimation. We have given her, she's really afraid of life in many ways. She hides out in her barn a lot, so we're actually really pleased with how she's doing, but we left some extra time for her. So we're gonna give her some extra days, make sure she is good and comfortable before we head out on the road, as comfortable as possible. So we're not there yet. We're, again, nice and slow. Everything elephant time. We often talk about that here depends on what the elephants want. There's Maison back there in the corner. Not in the corner, but on the other side. She has some dinner over there, some lunch over there, so she's going to explore, check out some things. But she's a cute girl. Maison comes over and talks to us quite a bit. She'll come over, and she's actually really sweet and sensitive. She gets a very childlike innocence sometimes. I'm looking at Trish to see if she agrees with that. She comes over and she has a little injury on her elbow, and she came over. Maison came over today. She does this really sweet, soft, sensual, like little, do you see that I have an injury? Like, look, can you give me a Band-Aid? I mean, it's just a very childlike approach to it, and a lot of times the zoo doesn't really know how to respond to that. They don't know, they're not understanding the nuance of it, and it's not their fault. They just haven't had that experience. But when you respond to Nathan and say, oh, look at you, cute girl, we know, we see it, and you approach it in that same type of intimacy, that same sensitivity, it allows her to feel like she is being heard, and you feel the emotion that she has right there. And I think it's opening up a little bit. I've seen Maison, again, looking at Trish here, and yeah. Trish is nodding. Yes. I'm going to make Trish super self-conscious here. Nodding in agreement that even in the last couple of the days, Trish said it about Bambi, her eyes are so different today than they were last week or just a few days ago. With Maison also, you just see that veil kind of being let down a little bit, exposing a little bit more of herself. Oh, interesting question. Somebody said, have you seen a difference in the captive elephants in the United States versus South America in terms of behavior or need? I'll tell you honestly, I think there's a lot more flexibility with elephants here. I think there's more innocence with how they approach and more naivety, which is not always good. The level of care is often diminished here. but you see elephants that are generally more comfortable. Not always, generally more comfortable. And I think it's because they're approached with a different level of innocence and naivety. You see people that are a little bit more open with them, a little bit more emotionally vulnerable sometimes with them. So even though they have the same veils, I think it's easier for those veils, those walls to come down with some of the elephants that we've seen here. I just paused one question and then have too many comments, and I don't have my glasses on. Somebody was asked about Bambi's behavior compared to Mara's. Very similar. You know, Mara had some insecurities as well when she first came, when she was at the transport container. But after a couple of days, she found a lot more comfort going in the transport container. And same with Bambi. Definitely more comfortable, definitely more relaxed. Yeah, it's all really good. It's everything's moving forward in a very positive way. Again, while we have a moment here, just to express our appreciation and gratitude again. We have names and faces, names from people from around the globe that we know. We're really excited to share this with all of you. Somebody just said, is there any reason why she can't leave the cage? I think you're talking about right now. She can. She has full access back outside. Coming to the front, it's not open to the front because we need a safe place to work. And also because of her fear, the zoo is not really comfortable with us opening the front because sometimes she leaves and goes out and doesn't go back inside. And we just need to acknowledge the fear that she has and acknowledge the mission, which is to make her comfortable in here so that she can go to the sanctuary and have the rest of her life. But she can absolutely go to the back. She can leave the crate at any time. I'll try to, actually I'm going to go to the other side. Just show you, she can leave the crate at any time. She's not blocked in. This is about her being acclimated to the crate, finding comfort with it each day. If you look back at the videos, each day she makes more progress. Each day she comes a little closer. Each day she spends more time here at the front. Even compared to this morning, she's spending a lot more time up front than she was earlier, kind of back and forth game. She's very fearful. You have to acknowledge where she's been and what she's been through and kind of help her through that so she has comfort before we leave for the trip, making sure this is as passive and as comfortable as possible. Bambi, I'm going to open up the side door, okay? Here we go. No, just the side door. Hi. There you go. Hi, sweetheart. I'm going to reach in a little. And as you can see, she's backing out right now. So she has back access into her barn. And she can go all the way back there if she wants to. Cute little Bambi butt. So she can back out of the cage. Also important to remember that before we got here for 3 days, she would not leave that back corner of her enclosure. She's just an elephant that lacks a lot of confidence. She has a lot of fear inside. So we need to help her through that and help support her. So it's about not pushing too far, giving her choice, but also recognizing there are some limits to that. There's a part of me that would love to be able to open up this door for her to go back out, all the way out, but it's just not feasible. Our original plan was actually to put the crate on the outside of that door. So Bambi could be in her yard and then go into the crate that is actually outside of the exhibit. That was the original plan. But because of Bambi's fear, when she would come out of her door here, she would not go through this passageway. They could not get her to shift over to that side because there's too much fear within, because of what happened with Bambi, with Mason towards Bambi. Mason was very aggressive towards her, and there was a lot of fear and created a lot more fear than she already had, a lot more insecurity. So Bambi would not enter this side. So the most passive way to do this, the most respectful way without pushing those boundaries with Bambi, was to put the crate here. It's really the only other option that we had that was safe. It does prevent her from coming out into the exhibit right now for a couple of days. But as we said, her history is that she would stay inside for 3 or 4 days on her own. Even with reinforcement and positive reinforcement, she would not come out. She was just very fearful. So just the simple fact that she's coming this far and coming and joining us in this space is a very positive attribute. it's a very encouraging element for the ride to come, the journey to come. These are often complicated scenarios, complex. None of it's really rocket science. It's just being sensitive to who they are, sensitive to what they've been through. Sensitive to the lack of autonomy that they've had. Kind of at the beginning of this, we talked about the beginning of this session. Right now, we talked about not wanting to feel like we're manipulating her. So she has a choice to come in. She has a choice to leave. We encourage her in. Oh, good girl. Here's some food. Here's some good stuff. I know. Here you come again because you saw sugar cane, huh?
Sugar cane.
Yeah. Gail just asked if we physically feed her. Yeah, sometimes, but again, that can be a little bit of a manipulation. It can perceived as manipulation. Sometimes she does like it, sometimes she doesn't. So we just try to give her the space that she needs, and sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It's a game of it's an ebb and flow. We don't really physically touch her, but that's not where we are with the relationship. This is not about trying to build this real close relationship. It's not about the physical touch. It's about her being comfortable. If she wanted the physical touch to be comfortable, we would do that, but there's no indication of that. A lot of times physical touch becomes a human thing. It's what we want from them, or we want to provide for them, but not necessarily what they want from us. So we have to listen to their desires and not ours. Their comforts and not our desires. I'm going to step to the side a minute. The rain is coming, and I need to move my bag before it gets saturated. And yes, the rain is finally coming. Pardon the messy video for a second. No, posso colocar aqui. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Trish, pode... Obrigado. Sorry, guys. I know, crazy video for a moment. Crazy video, but lovely rain. So the zoo, somebody said, what was the aggression? I haven't seen the video yet that Trish saw, but it was really disturbing to Trish to see what happened. The zoo was trying to acclimate the two together because of Bambi's fear. They were not able to put them together for a long time, for over 5 years, and the zoo was trying to move that forward, and they pushed too far forward too quickly, and they were in together for about 20 minutes, and then Bambi was a little bit insecure. She made a little action like, oh, I'm a little uncomfortable with this. And Mason took advantage of that and started pushing and shoving her. She shoved her, cornered her in the pool. She couldn't get out of the swimming pool, and Bambi doesn't like the swimming pool. So she put her in a bad spot, a very uncomfortable spot for Bambi. Created a lot of fear. It didn't cause any damage to her, but definitely amplified the fear and insecurity that she had. Somebody said, Tracy said, has Mason been mean, or do you think she's been too exuberant and too much? A lot of us, we always want to think the best of them, but we also have to acknowledge the reality. And this was outward aggression. It doesn't make her a bad elephant. It doesn't make her a mean elephant. It doesn't change any level of love or affection that anybody has for her. But acknowledging the reality of it. Captivity promotes a lot of negative behavior. The small space, the lack of autonomy, the lack of proper care, it just amplifies, the negative attributes many, many times. It amplifies the fear, it amplifies the aggression, it amplifies the insecurity. Mason's an elephant that is really sweet interior, but a very bold exterior. And she's not in an environment that allows her to unveil that sensitive interior. And unfortunately, like Maya, for those who remember Maya and Gita's history, we talked about this before, Maya was really aggressive to Gita for 40 years. But once it got to the sanctuary, all of that evolved. So, yeah, she was mean. She was in the intention to cause discomfort. But it's not Mason's fault. It's the nature of captivity. It's the nature of what happens to these elephants in these situations. So it's been interesting to talk to everybody about this, especially the zookeepers here, for them to understand more about that element. It's been really positive, actually. But it's important for all of us to acknowledge the reality and not want to create a silver lining a lot of times when we put a silver lining on anything, it's dismissive of what they've been through. It's dismissive of the fear. It's dismissive of the troubles they've endured. So yeah, we are just calling it as it is. But it's the reality. Maison is absolutely a love bug. She's amazing, but she's a victim of captivity, as they all are. You know, somebody just talked about turning wild animals into house pets. Sorry, I didn't see the whole comment. But yeah, you know, this is about respecting and respect and reverence for who they are, what they're capable of. You know, these are not, you know, tiny toddlers. You know, these are, you know, majestic, dynamic, complex beings. And they need to be treated as such. They need to be treated with the capability and respect for the capabilities that they have. Even with us, you know, we are almost always looking for what could go wrong. That's not to think that it's going to go wrong. That's not to say that she's a bad elephant, but we look to see what could go wrong and try to prevent things from going wrong so it stays in a positive direction. But we also have a lot of responsibility. I mean, there's a lot of risks involved, and we have to minimize those for everybody involved, not only for the elephant, but for us, our team, and those that are with us. But yeah, you know, overall, we're talking about captivity. I know it's been a long answer to short questions, which we all know that I like to do, but it's a complex world with these elephants, and it's been amazing to see Bambi, how far she's come. It's a journey, and you know, and this is just the beginning of the journey. We have a long way to go for her recovery. A lot of problems. She has some physical problems that are hidden within, we believe. We'll learn more about those when we get there. She is underweight. She's lost a lot of muscle. She has indications of kidney problems. So we have a lot of work to do once she gets to the sanctuary. But right now, you know, the main importance is to help her feel comfortable, help her feel safe, and continue moving forward in a positive direction for her transfer. You know, this is part of, Maison came a little closer, which is why she moved to the back. And Maison can't come over here. Maison, she's been separated from Maison for several weeks after the incident. But she knows when Maison comes over, she still gets a little fearful. You know, there's a lot of emotion that still hasn't been worked through, a lot of fear that still hasn't been worked through. So we just have to be very, very protective, very sensitive to that. Very patient, very calm with each step. Somebody asked about her eye a couple of times. Trish has labeled it as a luxated cataract. I don't know about treatment yet. I'll ask Trish about that in a little bit, see if she has any thoughts about it. We're also trying to get a series of photos from the past to see if we can see how it has progressed in the last couple of years. Might tell us a little bit more. Thank you, Celia. Somebody was just thinking about, thank you, Auntie Louise, for donating. Hello. My aunt just commented in, she just donated. My family's always been so supportive, and unfortunately, I talk to them more when we do Facebook Live on rescues than I do the rest of the time. They are so supportive of our life out here, and just always wonderful, and we're so appreciative of everybody that gets involved. So Louise just asked, how long has Bambi been at the zoo? Bambi's been here for about 5 years. She was at another small zoo before that for about a year that was did not have good enough space for her, didn't have proper fencing. Before that, she was on the circus. She's one of the many victims of progressive action. There's a lot of progressive legislation to move elephants from the circus and move them to other facilities, but without other proper facilities, they were sometimes moved to insufficient places and end up in these facilities where they are either with incompatible others, or they don't have the proper facility to socialize them. They did not have a way to divide the outdoor enclosure, so she was inside for a lot of the time. She started losing weight. She has some skin problems, and there's a lot of issues that develop in these small spaces. So fortunately, the Santuário de Elefantes Brazil, Elephant Sanctuary Brazil, exists now, so that, you know, these elephants have an alternative in a place that they can actually truly start to recover. Carly just said, how quickly can they put weight back on once they have adequate diet? That depends on a million scenarios. There could be something systemic going on, systemic happening with her. And it could be some internal disease. We just don't know. If all is well, within 6 months or a year, you can see a pretty dramatic transformation. You don't want to do it too quickly. You don't want to gain that muscle and weight back too fast. You have to do it, be a slow progression. But we'll just have to see. We'll have to see how she evolves and how if there's something else going on, and hopefully we can. If there is something else going on that we find through blood work and additional tests, then we can hopefully start treating that and help support her body. But we just don't know. There's so much that's hidden within these elephants that is unknown. There's limited diagnostic tools to determine exactly what's happening with diseases that are internal. But we just have to see what we can and progress as the exams tell us to proceed this quickly. Hey Tracy just commented about, she's from Evansville, Indiana, where an elephant named Bunny was from that came to the sanctuary in Tennessee. And even though Bambi's conformation is completely different, sometimes there's a little bit of Bunny that we see in her. Cat commented on yesterday, and it may be that little bit of, I don't know, it's hard to say, but sometimes we see other elephants, and Cat did say that she looks a little bit like Bunny in one of those photos. I think Cat's back home. Some other folks are back home answering questions for you guys as it goes. We're not going to go too much longer. I'm going to have to... I think Trish has everything covered, but we'll have to step out and do some other things and nurture ourselves with food, hopefully, at some point, too, before we start eating Bambi's food. But yeah, everything's going really well. Couldn't ask for much more. Playing with the straps, playing with the door. The way this is set up isn't not ideal. It's actually a difficult scenario because of all the concrete walls here. And it's really not ideal at all. But we're kind of making do and have a setup for the door that allows it to be closed without somebody entering behind here for a safety perspective, safety reasons. But she's playing with the door and checking things out. Again, what is she doing there for so long? Adriana, this is about a process of acclimation to a transport container so she can move to Elephant Sanctuary Brazil. She's been at the zoo for 6 years. The last thing you want to do is throw them in a crate and hit the road with a lot of insecurity. This elephant has a lot of fear, so we want to make sure she's comfortable. It gives us a chance to see how she responds, get to know her a little bit more, let her approach it in her own time. She's gone back and forth. She's been in the container quite a bit. If you check out some of the previous posts and previous Facebook posts, you'll understand a little bit more of the process. But it's about little baby steps to make sure these elephants that have been neglected, or not necessarily neglected, but disregarded in many ways for so long, to let them realize that this is, her time, her space for her to feel comfortable, and it's the next step to her future. A couple of extra days here is not going to make or break things for her, but it's a journey to a beautiful life of sanctuary that we're all on the road for and all here for. So it takes a little time. But it's been a beautiful process. The first day she was much more insecure, and each day she goes a little bit further and further. So, are you going to try to break my gate? I don't know. You like to break things. She's a mischievous little girl. She's fabulous. You're a cutie pie. With this rain that's coming in now too, she may end up being a little bit more insecure also with the noise, and may seem a little bit closer, but we'll see how it all goes. Overall, things are good. We appreciate you guys being here. We're going to go ahead and check out. We just cannot express enough gratitude for everybody that has been involved and to donate Bambi, to donate to the development of Elephant Sanctuary Brazil. That makes this whole journey possible and gives them a new life. And please stay tuned, follow along. Make sure you watch the rest of her journey as we start moving forward and giving her this life of sanctuary. That really is transformative. She gets to be with elephants that are going to be more sympathetic, and hopefully Maison will be liberated as well one day, and she can come join her as well. And Maison can start the transformation of her own, that in a life that only Sanctuary can provide in captivity. So we're thrilled to be a part of this, or thrilled that you guys are a part of it, and we thank you so much. We will talk later. Ciao, ciao for now. Oh, I can't walk away because Linda said she looks so distressed. You know, she is. That action you just saw was just kind of playful. It's a little bit mischievous. It wasn't distressful at all. She's not banging on it. She's not beating on it. But she's playful and mischievous. She likes to tear things apart. So this is part of exploring her container, seeing what moves, what doesn't move. This door is a little bit more closed than it was yesterday, so that she is getting acclimated to the gate being closed behind her a little bit. And again, about increasing her comfort. For most of the day so far, she's been up in the front, hanging out up here, just part of the process. So with that, I got to go. No more questions. You guys take care. We'll talk soon. Ciao.